Okay. So we did discuss about love, compassion, and empathy in our last session, right? So now we'll move to the conditions experienced at the third chakra. So that is the third point. Like if you see the anatomy of the heart region or the Pinda Pradesh is what it is called. So if you see the on a if I have to draw like this, so this is the first point on the where the heart is. The first point is where the heart is. And the second point is on the right side, towards the right side of the chest. And this is the third point. And this is fourth and fifth. So this point is predominantly earth. And this is also, I mean, these points, I mean, how it is described is also there in the Tattva Bodha, of the one of the Indian scriptures. Even you will find the references to this in the Vedanta Sara. I mean, um, so the second point is the space or ether. In Hindi, they say Akasha. And the third is the fire. This is called a fire point. And fourth is the air point. Sorry, fourth is water. And fifth is air. So now, so each, how do you see these points is each point is denoting a different state of consciousness. And like I said many times, there are not many consciousness. It's our only verbiage. We say subconscious, supraconscious, higher conscious, lower conscious. All these are just describing the same conscious states in different dimensions. So I always gave this example when you are at the seashore, standing at the beach and looking at the ocean, you will see the waves, predominantly waves, but as you go towards the center of the ocean seems to be calm. It's the same ocean, as you are going towards the center, you are experiencing its waveforms are changing. Similarly, our consciousness is also like that. It's like Babuji explains, as we go towards the center, we're going into a higher and higher conscious states. So, what is that condition we are experiencing at third chakra? So, that's what we are trying to understand today. The many qualities of the fire, like I said, the third point is the fire point, and Babuji used the word KNOT, not for these points. He said first knot, second knot, third knot. Then we started saying it as a point, and now we call it as a chakra. So, how do you understand these points? Or these are the intersections points between your koshas and the causal body. So there is an interaction to the causal body from every state of kosha. Kosha meaning the layers around the soul, the bodies around the soul. So the physical body is denoted as one kosha, one layer, and the subtle body is another layer, and the causal body is the third layer, and the fourth is the you cannot call it as a layer, as an Atman soul. So We'll talk about these layers again, when another opportunity presents, but I'm just giving you a brief touch point on that. So, the many qualities of fire include its volatility, its ability to melt and purify. So, the first characteristic, the way the fire is denoted as a purification agent. In fire, everything gets purified. That's how the scriptures thought about as fire. But where is the purification? Suppose if I put the wood in the fire, it burns. Can I say the wood got purified? No, right? It burnt. So here, how you the basically from a spiritual standpoint, from this dimension of where the fire element is, the fire element is the energy. Think of it like that. So this energy, the real essence. Oh, here, don't again think of as an energy, right? Think of it like the spiritual essence, this fire. Whatever the impurities you come in contact with this fire, it melts those impurities. That's how it is thought. So do not think like a fire, you lit the fire and, on a gas stove and you put something on it, it burns. It doesn't purify. But here the purification agent is this divine energy. When something is poured into it, anything which is not divine melts, burns away. So what remains is the pure divinity. That's how the purity agent should be looked at as here. So, and its ability to ascend. To get gold from ore, we need to melt. Melting signifies transformation from one state to another. So, as you meditate, you enliven the latent fire element within you and experience various conditions, including volatility of emotions, softness of the heart, and ascension of love. So, the volatility of emotions. Most of us carry a heavy burden of samskaras at this chakra. The after effects of anger and irritability settle here. So, anger is a tricky one, and even advanced practitioners struggle with it. When we are angry, we often cause hurt, tension, and conflict, and often people we hurt the most are our loved ones. To overcome anger and use it to our benefit, we need to understand anger's true nature and purpose. So we kind of think about negative emotions and positive emotions. How do you see a negative emotion? As something unwanted. And then how do you get rid of these negative emotions? See, the all struggle. See, one of my friend who is practicing heartfulness meditation for a while, over 10, 15 years. And his wife once told me she doesn't want to continue in meditation. I asked her why. She said, even after 15 years of practice, my husband is still angry. So I don't see him changing. I said, why don't you practice and prove it that don't, you also overcome the anger by through meditation? And she said, if he has not done it, if he is not able to do it, why should I waste my time doing it? I said, okay. Have you read all the Indian scriptures? How did Ahalya become a stone? One of the stories where her husband curses her. He's supposedly the greatest saint. So if you look at any of the pantheons of all the saints, cursed people for very silly reasons. Someone did not look at them when they walked in and they cursed. You see the stories, I'm not exaggerating. I'm not exaggerating at all. That's how many saints, many people got cursed by the saints. They walked in, they're busy with something and they did not look at them. They got angry and they curse. And the teachings are you should not have ego. You see the point there? I told her this. How come all these saints cursed people for very silly reasons? There is nothing for all the curses behind the saints. You will not find a single profound reason that they should lose their temperament. And they are supposedly meditated for thousands of years. They kept themselves alive and meditated 30, 40,000 years. Why didn't they get over their anger? So that was the question I asked her. So you have to look at this anger in a different way. So, and here is, I told her, here is how I look at my anger. Suppose a mother tells the child not to do something, not to break something, and the child keeps doing it. Mother gets angry, right? So why is mother getting angry towards the child whom she loves the most, right? So there, so if you look at the state behind the cause for the anger is anger comes because of failure. The mother is not able to control the child. She failed to control the child. So she has no other choice but to resort to the anger. Every time we express anger, we are only expressing our failure. See it. Now you go back and look at the situations where you got angry. And sometimes when people are not able to cope up with the outside world, they come home and the only people they can vent out their frustration is on their family. So that's why the loved ones are the most, they take the biggest hit for the failures of the husband outside in the outside world. Correct? So every time they are expressing anger, it's not, it doesn't matter who, right? Which I'm not kind of only saying husbands, even the wives, when they go to jobs, when they fail, they come back, they have to show their frustration. So every time we show the anger, it is our failure. Realize that, recognize that. But the inherent anger, all these emotions are there in us for a good reason. What we think of negative emotions are there for a good reason. A true spiritual mind knows how to make use of those negative emotions also, and they are very much required. If I don't get angry at all, then there is a problem with me. See, we idealize our situations. Oh, somebody meditating means should not get anger at all. But to me, the one who is meditating will get angry, just like the mother gets angry over the child, but she forgets in the next minute. She doesn't continue to show that anger towards the child after she expresses her anger. So that's how we should be. We should not carry the burden of any emotion longer than it is necessary. And we also should know why we are getting angry. Babaji said a wonderful thing. If you continue to be angry, there is a problem. But if you get angry and without losing your control, without losing your words, then it's the right anger. So there is a purpose for that anger. Sometimes you have to show it to control a situation. But you should know to what extent you can get angry, to what extent you can lose your control. All that should be in your purview. You should know exactly what you're doing in anger. Then it is a good anger. Okay. So anger is the energy we need for improvement. When the anger is channeled to disrupt the status quo and improve oneself, it becomes a righteous anger. So at the third chakra, we understand the true role of anger and learn to channel it towards self improvement with patience, practice, and compassionate heart. So the compassion we are never leaving. Even in our anger, there is compassion. Just like the mother is angry towards her child. So a helpful tip for managing anger is to postpone it. Postponing anger is like the ripening of Alfonso mango. The raw green mangoes can cause blisters in the mouth if you eat too many right away. But allow them to sit for a few days. And one morning, the entire home is filled with a sweet fragrance announcing that the mangoes are ripe. The next time you feel angry, make a conscious decision to postpone your anger and allow it time to transform. Give yourself some emotional space, and you'll find that in a short amount of time, your anger will transform into sweet compassion. So, suggested practices: dissolve anger. Sit comfortably, close your eyes. Imagine that you are in a gentle ocean of peace. The waves are soothing and blissful. Make the affirmation that you are immersed in the ocean of peace, and waves are removing all your coverings of impurities and complexities. Feel the coverings dissolved in lightness, and lightness grow within. Do this for no longer than 30 minutes. So, this is a very interesting technique. We call it ocean bliss cleaning. And this cleaning, whenever we are emotionally compromised, what happens when you are emotionally compromised? Your will cannot work. You lose the capacity of your willpower whenever you are emotionally compromised. So that's when Babuji said the people who are emotionally compromised, who are in anxiety, who are in depression, who are suffering from some challenges, they should do this kind of a cleaning, ocean bliss cleaning. And even everyone, when you are angry or emotionally compromised, do this technique, follow this technique. It's called ocean bliss technique, ocean of peace technique. So this technique is very simple. And this is also like, when you are in a, in a stress, like I said, emotionally compromised, do this cleaning instead of the regular cleaning, right? We all know what the regular cleaning technique is. So what we'll do is, for next 10 minutes, we'll practice this technique today, all of us, and then we'll get into meditation. I'll stop the recording here. Interesting. Okay, I stopped the recording.